with the NBA season back in session. Let's see some of the biggest NBA scandals in history. Shout out Nonstop. Let's get it started.
Global business worth nearly $140 billion. And with that kind
Damn.
of money involved, it's no surprise that there's corruption.
That is a lot of
Expect us to
money.
believe that you did
A lot of
nothing to
moolah.
manipulate the outcome of an NBA game.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
The most recent case being the LA Clippers scandal involving Kawhi Leonard, who allegedly
Oh yeah, I heard.
got paid $28 million under the table.
Under the table. Basically saying, this is basically for the people that don't know. Say they're gonna pay you $100 million. We're gonna pay you $100 million because that's what the NBA salary can only let me pay you. But we're gonna give you $30 million without nobody knowing. But just don't tell nobody. Do I think this happens a lot? Duh. Do I think this is the first time somebody got caught? Probably. But this probably happens like 9 times out of 10. Like, there's always probably incentives that are bonuses that the NBA is not allowed for NBA teams to give, but they give them in behind the closed doors because, come on. I mean, maybe box seats for life. Maybe you get maybe you have like all-time tickets. I don't know, something. But you know what I'm trying to say.
To circumvent the salary cap.
Your star player gets a contract for $28 million. He's not required to do anything as part of that contract. He doesn't actually do anything to promote their company. And he signs an extension with you guys right in and around the same time.
These are the biggest cheating
He's not stupid.
scandals in NBA
Why is not stupid?
Technical foul. Yeah. I suggest you sit down.
starting with a betting scandal when the league was still in its infancy. In the late 40s and early 1950s,
Dang.
collegiate
How
basketball
do they
was
have
more
this type of footage?
popular than the NBA. City College of New York played its games out of Madison Square Garden, selling out the full 18,000-seat capacity, while the
I'm like, what were you recording on? What are they recording on?
Knicks, well, they had trouble drawing more than 8,000 fans. And if there was a scheduling conflict,
An all-star sport carnival brings 9,000 fans to New York's Madison Square Garden.
the Knicks were moved downtown to play in the old gym on 23rd Street because college was by far the bigger game. New York was also the home of nearly 4,000 illegal bookmakers, and roughly $300,000 was placed on each college game. With that kind of money in play, it wasn't a surprise that there was also illegal action involved. At the center of that gambling scene was Harry Gross, a bookmaker from Brooklyn, whose syndicate was taking in more than $20 million a year in sports bets. Gross
Damn.
was giving out $1 million in bribes to police and politicians to keep his business going, but even with that kind of income, it still wasn't enough for Gross, who decided to approach collegiate players to fix games. During the 1949-1950 season, a few City College players were taking money and shaving points. But despite the illegal activity of their players, in one of the biggest sports surprises of the decade, the City College went on to win the National Invitational Tournament, at the time the most prestigious postseason tournament in the U.S. However, during that season, the new district attorney, Miles McDonald, had been putting together an investigation into police corruption and gambling. But because the gambling organization had been protected by dirty cops, it was hard to gather convincing evidence. Until January of 1951, when 2 former Manhattan College basketball players involved in the cheating approached Manhattan star Junius Kellogg. At first, Kellogg told him he would do it, but then he went to his coach and told him what happened. The coach then went to the district attorney, who set up Junius Kellogg with a wire.
Oh shit.
The evidence from Kellogg's recordings, McDonald finally had the evidence to make arrests. And on February 17, 1951, after City College's game against Temple, Ed Warner, Ed Roman, and Al Roth were arrested and taken to the station for interrogation. Finally,
Yikes.
after hours of questioning, they broke down and confessed to having shaved points in 3 games during that season. Apart from 3 City College players who were arrested that evening, 4 more CCNY players were caught cheating. In total, 32 players from 7 different schools confessed their involvement in the point shaving, while the bookmaker Harry Gross pled guilty to 66 counts of gambling and bribery and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. All
8 years for that? Come on. They're the ones that took. Well, you know what? I'm not.
32 players who were involved
Maybe they were. How to say it? They were offered a deal they can't refuse, eh?
in the scandal were permanently banned from the NBA, including some who already played in the league, like
Well,
Alex
offered a deal
Groza,
they
who
can't
made first-team All-NBA in 1951 and 52.
I'm gonna offer you a deal you can't refuse. Huh? How does that sound?
But this wasn't the only betting scandal from the early years of the NBA. In 1953, the Pistons drafted Jack Molinas, but despite becoming an all-star in his rookie season and having an extremely promising future in basketball, Molinas decided to earn more money by betting on Pistons games. He was caught and banned for life. But after playing in minor leagues
Like that one NBA player that got caught
several
recently.
seasons, Molinas had another master plan. In 1957, Molinas partnered with bookmakers Joe Hacken and Dave Goldberg, with the backing of the Genovese crime family. Their scheme was to befriend collegiate basketball players and treating them with a lunch or dinner, and even arranging a party with alcohol and women. They then sniffed out which players would be suitable for fixing games, who were then offered a bribe, along with the promise of further payments if they recruited other players into the scheme. The operation ran for 4 years, until the federal investigation led to the arrest of Molinas and Hacken. 50 players from 27 different teams were involved in the scandal, the most notable being future Hall of Fame players Connie Hawkins from the University of Iowa
Ooh.
and Roger Brown from the University of Dayton. However, Brown would go on to play in the ABA, where he won 3 championships, while Hawkins got reinstated by the NBA in 1969,
I didn't even know these guys are, but respectfully.
as there was no evidence that he ever actually fixed a game in the NCAA, despite once borrowing money from Molinas. And then, finally, in 1979, 3 players from Boston College, Jim Sweeney, Ernie Cobb, and Rick Kuhn, were involved in another collegiate point-shaving scandal. But
Respectfully, don't know who none of those guys are.
after the conspiracy unraveled in 1980, all players were charged with conspiracy, and they also got permanently banned from the NBA, even though none had ever played a second of NBA basketball. However,
We must fight to secure the future. By defeating all that threatens it. By winning the battles that will shape what's to come. Together. We are Marines. We were made for this.
What if you were prepared for all those interview curveballs? Practice the interview before the interview.
However, just a few years later, the NBA had another scandal involving the biggest star in the league and the big boss
Larry Bird,
himself, Commissioner
the old garbage man.
David Stern.
Watch a story on him. Go check it out.
Stern took over as commissioner on February 1st, 1984, and just 4 months into his reign, he was already accused of fixing games by none other than the Celtics legend Larry Bird. During the 1984 NBA Finals between the Lakers and the Celtics, which was the first of 3 times Bird and Magic met in the finals,
Everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
Bird noticed that something was wrong during Game 6, with the Celtics leading the series 3-2 and the chance to win the title. But the Lakers won, 119 to 108, pushing the series to a deciding Game 7. And Bird wasn't happy about it. And yet, he didn't voice his displeasure at his teammates, the refs, or the Lakers, but rather to David Stern.
Uh-oh.
Well, I thought we'd sweep him in 4, but it's went a little bit longer. Now we just have to do it in 7.
Stern told a
Uh-oh.
fan that the NBA needed a 7-game series, that the league needed the money.
Oh, shit.
The commissioner makes a statement like that to a
Oh, yeah, you know.
fan, you know it's going to be tough. When Stern makes a statement like that, things are going to happen. You just don't make statements like that and not expect anything out of it. He's the commissioner, and he shouldn't be saying anything like that. The NBA wanted a 7th game because they wanted to make more money, and
Yeah, it's true.
they got their wish. There's no reason for me to
Probably the most watched game of all time.
lie. He said it. He's a man, and he'll live up to it.
The Lakers versus the Celtics.
He may say he said it in jest, but I'm out there trying to make a living and win a championship. It's unclear how Bird even found out about Stern wanting a Game 7, who the fan was that leaked the information to Larry, and whether the source was credible. David Stern never commented on those accusations from Larry Legend, and in the end, it didn't matter, as the Celtics won Game 7 at home, with Bird winning his 2nd NBA title.
It's my pleasure to present the Larry O'Brien Trophy to the NBA World Champion 1984 Boston Celtics.
Legendary Celtics player and announcer Tommy Heinsohn had his take on the matter, saying that it was all mind games by Bird. By challenging the commissioner, I think Bird was trying to get the refs on his side. However, Bird wouldn't be the only one to point out that the league benefits from extended playoff series, especially in the finals.
Listen, the closeout game is the hardest game in your life. And they be like, why? And I can't say it.
Nah, I'll tell it. Like, go ahead. I remember we were about to play game 7. I'm like, this is gonna be lit. So Eldon was like, you know we're gonna have to win by 15 just to win by 1. So
I don't get it.
I'm like, what you mean? He's like, bro, this is the NBA, it's entertainment. You get in this game, you know how much money the NBA is gonna lose. LeBron is and the Heat are waiting. Would you rather watch the Celtics or the Sixers play the Heat?
You have to be a
Oh, I kind of get it. So they're basically saying, like, even if they win, they're basically going to lose.
so much that don't affect it.
And despite the best player in the league accusing the commissioner of fixing games, which certainly ruffled some feathers, the NBA was largely scandal-free for the next 2 decades. Sure, there were multiple players who were suspended for substance abuse throughout the 80s. There was speculation about Jordan's suspension for gambling when he first retired.
Do you have a gambling problem?
No, I enjoy it. It's a hobby.
Just like the omnipresent discussions that the draft lottery was fixed. But by far the biggest scandal in the last 50 years happened in 2007. When one crooked referee brought the integrity of the whole NBA into question. Tim Donahue
was crazy.
He became an NBA referee in 1994, and in 2006 he
Imagine how many games he actually did fix. Oh, I'm so pissed. Finding it out, and he fixed a champion. If he fixed a championship game, bro, I'm going to your house. We gotta talk.
Connected with a high school friend, Jimmy Batista, who was known as a mover. Now, movers are neither gamblers nor bookmakers, but brokers who provide services to sports bettors, laying down wagers on their clients' behalf with bookmakers of various types around the world. Batista was paying Donahue $5,000 per game that Donahue was officiating, and all Donahue had to do was to influence the outcome
a little bit
of a game so that it covers the spread. If the pick won, the ref got his $5,000. If the pick missed, the ref owed nothing. Batista would eat the loss. But Donahue was rarely missing, hitting almost 90% of his wagers.
No way.
Logical that an NBA referee could influence the outcome of a game, but to make 90% of your bets? Well, that's a lot.
That's like an A+.
Even if you're the guy with the whistle. However, when he started working with Batista, Tim Donahue was already knee-deep in gambling on the NBA games. The ref developed a gambling addiction in the late 90s and early 2000s, even though the NBA refs are forbidden to bet on sports. And then, because he needed money to finance his habit, circa 2003, Donahue crossed the Rubicon and did what he never believed he would do: bet on the games he was officiating. But he was just testing the waters, betting on several games during the 2003 season.
Lakers, Phoenix, Oklahoma. I like how he has it marked down. Bro, we know you bet on every game. Come on. SB 100. Maybe. Who knows?
And sharing the information with his best friend, Jack Concannon. In
he was betting on every single game, though.
2004, his appetite grew, so he made between 30 and 40 wagers on games he worked. And the same was true in 2005 and 2006. By Donahue's own admission in his memoir, so much cash started rolling in that he had problems knowing physically where to stash it, so his wife wouldn't start asking questions, like some referee version of Breaking Bad.
That's sick, though.
I went to throw his NBA jacket in the wash machine. I put my hand in the pocket, and there was a wad of money about that big. And I thought, I don't know if I want to know where it came from.
I would have been like, that baby's paying you real good.
And because Concannon was also placing bets using Batista's services, who was a part of the same social circle as Concannon and Donahue, an experienced gambling agent like Batista quickly noticed what was happening. Because Concannon used to only bet small amounts and rarely won, it was strange how he was now betting large and winning all the time.
Coming to the stage this Friday, it's Ned's first team karaoke night. But he's wondering, what if my...
Batista then realized
the gamble became the gambler.
He was working with Donahue, deciding to approach his high school buddy himself. The big problem, per Batista, was that the betting markets were now familiar with the emergence of an astonishingly accurate NBA handicapper. So he instructed Donahue to report directly to him via a middleman, who was another mutual friend.
And I would call Tommy at that point when he was placing the bets and transferring the information to Batista. We used a code. That's how I would communicate.
ooh, I would be so pissed. I'm just like, oh, I hate you, bro. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that Homer Simpson choke with him with Bart Simpson, bro. Oh my God.
And that's how
if I'm one of the players. That's crazy. Why would you do that?
From 2006. Due to Batista's big network of gamblers and bookies, the amounts that were being wagered on Donaghy's games usually exceeded $1 million, which also influenced the odds for the games Donaghy was refereeing. If you looked at the stats, you could see he was calling more fouls on the team he bet against and less fouls on the team he bet on. That was obvious. Batista sometimes watched these games at home, but more often he didn't, as he'd just get agitated. I remember being like, he's getting out of hand. It was too obvious. I was like,
no way.
If anyone's watching this, we've got a problem. And about 6 months after their meetup, they indeed had a big problem. Because Batista had a large number of people betting on Donaghy's games, their jig was up quickly, and the FBI got their crooked referee. By June 15th, 2007,
look at his face, looks scared as fuck.
Donaghy was sitting inside the U.S. Attorney's office for the Eastern District of New York, naming names and making a statement.
Yep.
A few days later, David Stern and other NBA executives were informed of Donaghy collaborating with a gambling ring and betting on his own games.
This is the most serious and worst situation that I have ever experienced.
And even though Stern and the NBA promised their full cooperation with the FBI, the agents working the case regretted informing Stern about the case in advance. In Donaghy's many conversations with the feds throughout the investigation, he started pointing fingers and making allegations about other referees who may have also been corrupt. In late July 2007, the Donaghy
whistle starting to blow.
Scandal went public, which wasn't something that the FBI wanted to happen.
The irony is astounding. The very person hired to make the players abide by the rules is suspected
is the one cheating.
Of cheating for money.
Allegations of betting and foul calls by a veteran referee.
They wanted Donaghy to wear a wire and prove that the other referees were involved. But by then, Stern had already...
It was already too late, bro. Why would you have him wear a wire when he's already on camera? He's already on the news for betting. Why? No.
Made a decision to protect all the other refs that might have been involved. His messaging was clear. Donaghy was a rogue, one bad apple that acted alone. This was an episode of gambling, yes, but most assuredly not of match fixing. As a matter of his on-court performance, he's in the top tier of accuracy. And Stern's conclusion that Donaghy did not fix games would be validated by the federal investigation. Donaghy and Batista would plead guilty to 2 charges: conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to transmit gambling information. And they both received 15-month sentences in a federal prison. The NBA also conducted independent research about the Donaghy scandal, focusing on the 17 games he refereed during the 2007 season.
The investigators wrote that only one of those 17 games, Pistons and Nets on December 16, 2006, raised concerns that Donaghy's calls and substantial errors might have been aimed at favoring Detroit.
In this game, Donaghy called 5 straight fouls on New Jersey in the fourth quarter when the spread was in doubt. But because it was only one game of potential cheating, it wasn't nearly enough to accuse the referee of anything, and the NBA proclaimed that their integrity was intact. However, because Donaghy accused other refs of influencing games, as well as claiming that the NBA wanted to extend certain series which favored more marketable teams, like the infamous 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Kings and the Lakers, when the Lakers won Game 6, attempting 18 more free throws than the Kings in the fourth quarter.
Oh, I seen that.
The Lakers 12-12.
It's still happening today. Lakers attempt way more free throws than all of the fucking NBA.
From the line and shot 6 for 6.
Because of those allegations, there is plenty of doubt remaining that Donaghy wasn't the only one, and that the NBA just wanted to cover their tracks and emerge clean from the whole scandal.
He's a singing, cooperating witness who is trying to get as light a sentence as he can.
With Donaghy being the only ref to take the fall. But in recent times, as sports betting has been legalized in most U.S. states,
U.S. gaming revenue growth up 26% year on year.
A new scandal has emerged. In 2024, the Toronto Raptors player Jonte Porter was caught placing bets on NBA games, pleading guilty to a federal conspiracy charge after he faked injuries to influence the outcome of prop bets, for which he received a lifetime suspension from the NBA.
Raptors forward Jontay Porter allegedly bet not only on basketball, but also on his own team.
Other players were also under investigation, namely Malik Beasley and Terry Rozier, but they were both cleared of any wrongdoing. Today, the NBA cooperates with 17 licensed gaming operations. And if you want to bet on sports in the NBA, the possibilities are endless. With the rise of proposition bets, which allow wagers on events that don't directly affect the final score, such as number of points, rebounds, and assists, there are up to 50 categories where you can place bets within a single game, making the gambling experience more advanced than ever, but also far more dangerous. Sure.
Satan was pitching that apple. It looked.
Sure, guys like LeBron James and Steph Curry and other high-profile superstars are not the demographic that would bet on NBA games. However, for two-way players like Jontay Porter, who are not earning a lot of money, it can be extremely financially beneficial to earn some money on the side by betting on their own games.
Think about if you could get all your homies rich by telling them, yo, bet $10,000 on my under, you know, this one game I'm gonna act like I got an injury, and I'm gonna sit out. I'm gonna come out after 3 minutes.
Jontay, MPJ's brother, earned $2.4 million during his 4 years in the NBA. And if you deduct taxes and fees from that sum, he only made around $1.2 million in 4 years.
Let's see what he's gonna do now.
Isn't that much for an NBA player, especially one with a gambling problem. The league's investigation found that before the Raptors game on March 20th, 2024, Porter disclosed confidential information about his health status to an individual he knew to be an NBA bettor. Another individual with whom Porter associated and knew to be an NBA bettor. One or more bets, the 80,000 for a case fired. Singer Kevin McHale struck a lucrative deal with free agent Joe Smith below the market value, while promising him another NBA cheat.
Porter has been
involved. Came to even worse for the Wolves in the long run is that Stern stripped them of their first-round draft picks from the purpose of circumventing Steve Ball ending the NBA.
Like, I'm subscribed. We're gonna keep you on over.
Bye. Have a great time.